Hi, this is Mrs. Sykes, and today we're having a look at blood vessels, veins, arteries, and capillaries. Blood vessels are pipes that go to and from the heart and contain blood. And those blood vessels take the blood from the heart to the muscles, for example, and then back to the heart, to the lungs, to the digestive system, all the way around the body. So all of our body and all the body of any animal with a transport system will have veins, arteries and capillaries going to all parts of the body because all parts of the body need to have glucose and oxygen delivered. If the blood is going away from the heart, so A for away, that makes it an artery. So that is the big rule that is never broken. Blood leaving the heart is always an artery, and usually it will be oxygenated. Always an artery, usually it will be oxygenated. The blood will then travel through the artery and get to the capillaries, which is a little bridge in between. And when it returns back to the heart, then it will travel through something called veins. Now, you're probably more familiar with veins because those are the ones that you can actually see on the outside of your body. The reason why we can see those is because they're on the outside of the body, closer to the outer layer of the skin. The arteries are closer toward the centre, the core of our body, because arteries contain oxygenated blood, which is more important for survival. So if you accidentally cut yourself on your knee, for example, it will be the veins that are closer to the surface. The blood inside the arteries will be more protected because it's closer to the bone. So we're familiar with veins because those are the ones that we can usually see. Arteries go away from the heart. The capillaries, which we will have a look at in a little bit more detail in a different video, and the veins that go back. So through an artery, bridged across by a capillary, and veins travel back to the heart. So the three types of blood vessels, you need to know their basic structure and their basic jobs. So arteries go away from the heart, and because they've only just left the heart, that blood has only just been squeezed out. So it's high pressure blood. And because it's high pressure blood, this, which represents a cross-section of the pipe, cross-section of the artery, needs to be able to withstand the high pressure, i.e. not pop. So to allow the artery to not pop, the pipe itself is actually, this bit here, which is where the blood would go, is actually quite small. Because this bit here, the wall, is very thick. And it is full of elastic fibres and full of muscle. And those layers of muscle and those layers of elastic fibres keep the pipes, the arteries, from bursting. If they were thin, they would pop really easily. So because they are nice and thick, this wall is thick, it allows the artery to stay not broken, to stay functional when the high pressure blood travels through it. That does unfortunately mean that the pipe itself, the hole that the blood travels through, which is a posh word which is called the lumen, is actually kind of small. So the lumen of the artery is relatively little because so much of the pipe is taken up by this elastic fibre. The capillary that goes between the artery and the vein has a very important job. Its job is to allow exchange, swapping of materials. For example, swapping of oxygen and carbon dioxide. And capillaries are teeny, tiny, and they are only 1 cell thick. And because they are only 1 cell thick, it's very easy for gas exchange to take place. If you ever see a picture of a capillary in an exam question that looks the same size as the other two, it's because it's been zoomed in even further, a higher magnification. So arteries are big with a little-ish gap because there's so much elastic fibre. And all of that elastic fibre and muscle is needed because the blood is at high pressure, and otherwise they would pop. Capillaries are for gas exchange, and they are 1 cell thick and teeny tiny. The vein is for returning blood back to the heart, and this is difficult. You've pumped the blood, for example, all the way to your toes. You've now got to get that blood back up to your heart. Normally that means that you're going against gravity, which makes it more difficult. And because you've already spread out all of the blood, you've got really low pressure blood as well. So it's very, very difficult to return blood back to the heart. So veins, if we look at them as a pipe going downwards, have things called valves in them. So V for vein, V for valves. And these valves stop the blood going the wrong direction. So the blood gets pumped a little bit that way, usually by muscle contraction, and then it's stopped here, and then it gets pumped a little bit further, and then a little bit further, and a little bit further in stages. Because the blood inside a vein is low pressure, unlike in our artery, it doesn't need to have lots of muscle. It doesn't need to have lots of elastic fibres because there's hardly any pressure there. It doesn't need to protect itself against popping. So the veins have got relatively thin walls, and therefore the hole inside them, the lumen, is quite large. So a large lumen inside a vein, because it doesn't need to be thick, because it doesn't have to prevent itself from popping. So veins have got valves, which you sometimes see when you see the pictures this way, sometimes you don't. But either way, they have a large hole and they have a very thin wall. Arteries have a little lumen or a little hole, and they have thick walls with lots of muscle and lots of elastic fibres. Capillaries are really tiny. Arteries go away from the heart, veins return to the heart, and the capillaries are the bridge in between. And within that bridge, gas exchange and exchange of other materials takes place.